Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale
Srimate.
Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahabhadanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna. What we got? Namane Gora Tishe Namaha Namo Brahmanaya Devaya Go Brahmanya Hitayacha Jagadhitai Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Right.
So we're offering our respects to Srila Prabhupada, Lord Krishna's confidential associate, Lord Krishna's personal associate. He's come from the spiritual world. We're here in this material world because we've made a choice. We wanted to try our wings, so to speak, take a shot at being independent enjoyers. We want to, actually, it's an expression of envy of Krishna's position. In this world, by simply going and listening to the news, we can understand that all over the planet, there's the threat of world war. And for those who are not engaged in war, they're engaged in tremendous collection of arms and missiles, bombs, jet airplanes. I think even in the United States, the taxes are collected. Taxes for selling, taxes for buying, taxes for operating a business, taxes for property, taxes for income, taxes for everything. So those taxes, what is the meaning of taxes? The taxes are meant that they're collected by the government supposedly by the people, for the people. They're collected by the government to be spent for the welfare of the people. That's the meaning of taxes, taxation. The people in charge of the government, they're only there as servants. They're there to serve us. But when they apply for, they run for president or senator or what have you, they get their votes as they promise that they will serve us. They're there to be our servants. And then they take all this tax money, and 60, 80% of the budget of all this collected taxes is made for military, for fighting their wars, which are only what are their wars? Why should there be wars between nations? Everyone wants to eat, have a nice place to sleep, and have a family, live nicely in society. So why there should be wars? There's wars because it's never enough. The politician, he wants to expand his territory. So if we look at the history, when we went to school, they taught us, we had history books. What is that history? The history that we have recorded is all, what do they call it? No, the word escapes me at the moment. That they're trying to capture another country and take over the government, take over the citizens, and take over the resources.
Hijack. It's the word.
What is it?
Hijacking.
Well, that's a good word too. They have a more sophisticated word.
Democracy.
No, they call it that, but there's no such thing as democracy. Srila Prabhupada calls it demon crazy. So, so then they step on each other's toes, and they want to exploit each other. It's never enough. So then there's when they're just like in the United States, there are so many big corporations, multinational corporations, and they take over uh, the resources in countries all over South America, for instance. And they make a deal with the government in another country that you give us access to your natural resources so we can do mines there, so we can do plantations there, so we can clear cut your national forests there, so we can do so many things. And in return, we'll give you lots of money. So the local people get nothing from it, and they're exploited, and their environment becomes poisoned in so many ways, and their children get cancer and things like that from all the pollution, and then they have a protest. So then United States, uh, these big businesses, corporations, they feel, oh, we're going to lose our opportunity to exploit these resources. So they actually run the American government. The American government is only a front stage puppet for for these companies. So then what they do is they hire a military. They have they spend millions and trillions of dollars on military, and they tell the public that we're sending the Marines down to these different countries to take out this communist revolution. And we're protecting freedom. And actually, in fact, they're protecting the business interests of these corporations, but they say they're protecting freedom. So this is going on. So therefore, there are wars. There are wars. Actually, there are wars between communism and capitalism. But there's no communists in this world. There are absolutely no communists in this world. We want to say, well, who has created this communism? The only one class of people have created communism. It's the very selfish, miserly, greedy capitalist who has made things so unbearable for the average citizen that somebody comes along and says, all right, we'll have a different kind of government where everybody can feed their family, and we'll call it communism. So the capitalists feel very threatened. But who has created this communism? The man in the street is not interested in politics. He's not interested in capitalism, and he's not interested in communism. He wants to feed his family. But because people are so selfish in the material world, those who are more powerful, those who are stronger, and they exploit so much that people are driven to the wall, so to speak, and then they resort to having a revolution. Then they then they resort to things like communism. But this has all been come into manifestation because of the selfish greed. So this is the nature of this material world that we're in. And where everyone is trying to be number one. Of course, some of us are born The Vedic aphorism is Janma Shwarya Sutta Shri. Janma means born in a very high-class aristocratic family. Aishwarya means wealth and power. Sutta means big brain. Some have bigger brain than others. They can exploit more than others. They can work with what is available. And Shri, beauty. So when people are blessed with more prestigious birth, and they are blessed with more wealth and power, social power, and they're blessed with a big brain, and they're blessed with more beauty, then they immediately become intoxicated. Yes, I'm better than everyone else, and they're only peasants. Actually, the government is there to treat all the citizens like their own family members. That's the purpose of a government, to take that paternal position. But actually they're there for the purpose of exploitation. And they create these all the whole history that we read. It's either they're having a revolution within a country. What did they have to do during the French Revolution? They had to make a guillotine and cut off the heads of all of these government leaders, because they said the queen, I think her name was Marie Antoinette, and they said to the queen, the people are complaining they don't have bread. She said, if they don't have bread, let them eat cake. So there's no care or concern. As soon as people feel more powerful, more elevated, they think that the average person is of no consequence, dirt. We can treat them any way we like and exploit them. Then they have revolutions. Therefore, you have the French Revolution, you have the English Revolution, you have the American Revolution. All over the world, you have, as soon as people become more powerful, they use it for their own selfish interest. Everyone wants to be God. Everyone wants to be the most important. Everyone wants that everyone should serve me. And then we have revolutions. And if they're successful in becoming a big politician or a despot, then it's not enough. Then they want to exploit the next country. All of the Europeans. When we were children, they taught us to sing a song. I was born in Canada. The song was be in school every morning, about how in days of yore, from England's shore, Wolfe the dauntless hero came and planted firm Britannia's flag on Canada's fair domain. There's no question that there were people living here. They don't count. They're savages. Actually, the white man is the savage, but he has some technological capacity. So in order to implement his savage nature, and they went to Africa. All the different European countries went to Africa. What did they do? They began to buy and sell the black man as a commodity, to go and buy and sell people. So why? So they can be brought to America, or they can be, and South America, or they can use them as slaves. So why are they bringing them to America? Because America has had a revolution against England because England is trying to impose taxes on America, and nobody is learning from the difficulties they're experiencing. The Jewish people went through what the Nazis imposed on them in England, putting them into ovens to burn them. They're making the citizenship of Germany very clean and pure. They have to burn people. So then, so that you think that they have learned something from being at the effect of this kind of insanity, that now the Jewish people are in Israel and they're doing the same thing to the Palestinians. They're doing genocide. No one is learning anything. And in the name of religion, in the name of being the chosen people, they're doing genocide on children, on people who are citizens. When the United States invaded Iraq some 20 years ago, more than 100,000 citizens were killed. Just people who want to take care of their families, not soldiers. But they go in these great big jet planes and throw bombs on the country, and they killed more than 100. And it's all in the name of freedom. Freedom to exploit, freedom to murder, freedom to kill. So this is going on all over the world. And those who are not engaged in wars, they're armed to the teeth, ready for war. And all of the resources and the taxes of the people are being used to build up the military. The United States has military bases all over the planet. So this is the material world. In other words, what that man is envious of his fellow man. Where does this envy come from? Is a manifestation of our envy of Krishna, our envy of God. We were in the spiritual world and we had a free choice. And instead of being happy as a servant of Krishna, we wanted why he should be Krishna, why he should be the center. Why not I be the center? Why not I be the most famous, the most wealthy, the one who everyone serves? Why not I be in that? So Krishna immediately does for Krishna creates the material world. Millions and trillions of universes he creates. For that, we are the minority. We're a minority group. Just like in every country, there are the minorities. So in the material world is made up of the minority of the spiritual world. What is that minority? In every city, there's a prison house. In every city, there's a prison house. Big prisons. Why? Because the government, they don't want prisons. They don't want people in prisons. But they know that there will be a certain element, a certain proportion of the citizenship. They will not be able to work according to the Constitution. Constitution means what are the rules and regulations and obligations, the relationship of the citizenship of the citizen to the state. And those who can work and live according to the Constitution, they remain free. And those who cannot work according to the Constitution, but consider themselves to be falsely independent, I can do whatever I want, a prison has to be there. for such people. And the material world is just that kind of prison. It's for us. We have, all of us here, we have chosen, and that we would like to, outside of our constitutional relationship with God, outside of our constitutional relationship with Krishna, we want to be independent, and we want to be as self-important as we can, and therefore this material world is created for us. So it's created because we're envious of Krishna. We're envious of God. So Krishna says, all right, you take this enviousness and you don't have to fight with me. You can manifest it against each other. You can all be there envious as you want, as competitive as you want, and you can have exploitation of each other according to your individual strength, and you can have wars with each other according to your imperialism. That's the word I was looking for. The history of this planet is the history of imperialism, that let us go and we can capture India. We can capture Indonesia. We can capture Thailand. We can capture Africa. The people ran away from England to settle in America. The Americans came and they put the Indians on the reservations. The native people who lived here for centuries, for generations, hundreds, thousands perhaps, of generations, and they said we'll put them on a reservation because we're God is on our side. God is on our side. In the name of God, the Muslims, the Christians are having crusades against the Muslims and killing them. In the name of God, the British the Muslims are going to India and destroying all the temples in the name of God. So everything's in the name of God, but it has nothing to do with God. It's simply our envy of each other as a manifestation of our envy of Krishna. So our constitutional position is we have to come to understand the basics of Krishna consciousness, that we are all God. Very surprising thing to say. The only thing is we're not the supreme God. We're tiny, tiny individual, infinitesimal spiritual sparks. But we have the same quality of God, just like a drop of water from the ocean. If you analyze it in the laboratory, you'll find it has all the qualities of the ocean water. But the drop and the ocean, they can't be compared. So we're infinitesimal spirit sparks. And we have all the qualities of God. But we have a relationship with the whole. The part has a relationship with the whole, just like the hand has a relationship with the body. The hand feeds the body through the mouth with foodstuff, and the whole body becomes nourished. But if the hand says, why I should feed the stomach, why I can't directly enjoy this food. So that is our position in the material world, that we're trying to enjoy in separation. We're trying to enjoy independently, but constitutionally, our relationship to the whole, the rules by which we have a relationship with the whole, that if we serve the whole, we become totally satisfied. Totally satisfied. And what is the medium of exchange? Just like in the marketplace, The medium of exchange is money. But in the spiritual world, no one needs money. In the spiritual world, the medium of exchange, everything is there as much as one wants. As soon as Krishna has a desire for something to exist, it exists. As soon as the individual spirit soul has a desire to please Krishna in some way in the spiritual world, it exists. Yeah. So nothing is in money, it's not needed. And every resource is available unlimited as soon as we desire. So what is the medium of exchange? In the spiritual world, the medium of exchange is love. Krishna wants our love. Krishna has only created us because he enjoys being loved. So Krishna wants our love. So this is the medium of exchange. So we can, if we want to return from this place of birth and death in the material world, there are conditions. Yes, you can be independent. You don't have to give your love to the whole. You can try to be number one. 8-9 billion people all trying to be number one, each according to their individual capacity. It's not that some are more humble than others. It's that some are stronger and some are weaker. And the stronger ones are exploiting the weaker one. So we have to invoke or reawaken to what is our constitutional relationship so that we, as tiny infinitesimal part and parcel of the supreme whole, so that we can find the happiness that we're looking for at every moment, in every thought, in every word, in every action that we do in the material world. We're actually looking for fulfillment. We're seeking for that fulfillment. We're seeking for that. So when we learn to give the loving propensity in our heart to the Supreme Spirit whole, to God, to Krishna, then immediately, because we're part and parcel of that whole, the feedback is there. It's a perfect loop. It's a perfect loop. Yeah. As the hand feeds the belly, the hand becomes nourished. The leaf on the tree, every leaf needs water. If the leaf tries to water himself, he's not satisfied. If the leaf tries to, now there are a few leaves that want to water the other leaves, but still they can't give them the ultimate satisfaction. But if one leaf waters the root of the tree, he's doing the highest service simply by understanding his relationship to the whole. Simply by becoming a real spiritual being, one is serving the whole. Every living being, every living entity is being served if there's the presence of one spiritual being on the planet. So the medium of exchange is love. And it's only by love that we can return again to the spiritual world, because that's all that's missing. Srila Prabhupada writes in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 2 purport, that Krishna accepts only the love with which things are offered to him. because Krishna doesn't need anything from us. What to speak of material things, dead material energy. He doesn't require, he's completely self-satisfied, but he enjoys our love. He's created us only for that purpose. That's our constitutional position. The constitution of our relationship with the whole is to render loving service. The word service, it has a negative feeling in the material world. No one wants to be servant. Everyone wants to be master. But to be a servant of God is different. It's not a question. Those who are, if we go to Nectar of Devotion, the very first sentence in the whole book describes what is the nature of devotional service. It says that those who are on this platform, they pray. They pray to Krishna that I don't want anything from you except please let me be engaged in your service. I don't want any material advantage. I don't want to have the ability to be a big brain and have the great philosophical ability. All I want is to have the intelligence, that you please supply me with the intelligence, how I can always have my heart open to you, because there's nothing with those who are experiencing it, what they're experiencing. They're experiencing the nectar. They're experiencing the nectar of devotion. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Bhakti is love, devotional love for God. Rasa, the taste of that devotion. The nectar. Amrita is immortal and nothing can remove it. It just becomes covered in our material. And Sindhu is an ocean. It's described that those souls who are living in this devotional demeanor, they feel themselves diving and surfacing, diving and surfacing in an ocean of loving reciprocation with Krishna. And so they pray for this, just let me have this position. If I have to be born in the material world, that's all right. Let me be born as an insect in the house of a real devotee, because it's so sweet. So this nectar of devotion is not something that, what is this nectar of devotion? What is devotional service? Devotional service is not, Srila Prabhupada becomes sarcastic sometimes. Sardonic is the word that he refers to this. Oh, we have this formula. A formula. We have this checklist of things that I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. And then he says he used this word, rubber stamp. When you go through the customs and you go to another country, the government agent, he takes your passport and he takes a rubber stamp, and then it's official. Now you can immigrate here. Now you can go in our country. It's a rubber stamp. He says, so he talks about rubber stamp devotional service. That is very official. We've completed the checklist. Now we're devotees. No. Devotee means devotional. Devotion means love. And I repeat, Srila Prabhupada, Krishna he accepts only the love with which things are offered to him. I have a friend. He lives in Alachua, one of the biggest book distributors in ISKCON for so many years. he came to his house, my friend's house. He's a devotee. To stay overnight, and in the morning he went into the room, and the man had hung himself. He committed suicide. He's hanging from the ceiling with something around his neck. He's done so much devotional service, quote unquote, rubber stamp. He has distributed so many thousands of books, but
Yeah.
he's still so miserable. He
Mhm.
has not tasted what? The nectar of devotion. When we taste the nectar of devotion, we're relieved of our material desire, we're relieved of our material hankering, and we're relieved of our material lamentation, but we feel Purna, Purna, Om Purnamada Purnamidam, invocation of Ishopanishad, perfect and complete. As part, the Supreme is perfect and complete. And ourselves as tiny infinitesimal parts. And when we're in our constitutional relationship with the Supreme complete, then we also feel this supreme completeness within ourselves. And we want nothing else. We don't want to add anything, and we don't want to subtract anything. We don't want to become a trillionaire, and we don't want to end our life. We just want more of this exchange of love, this reciprocation of love with the Absolute. So Krishna says we have to come to this platform. How to come to this platform? There are three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Sattva gun. Guna means rope. Guna means qualities. It's by these different qualities we're conditioned souls. What does condition mean? It's a legal term. It means when you make a contract. When we make a contract, I am giving you the right. We have a house. We're renting the house to somebody. All right, you can live here. Here are the conditions. You have these rights, but you also have certain obligations and restrictions imposed upon you. You can live here, but there are conditions. You cannot bring 25 people to live in your house. You cannot have a cow in your living room. You cannot make big holes in the wall. You cannot do this. You cannot do that. And what else? A condition: you have to pay your rent every month on time. So many conditions. So that means you have a contract, but there are conditions. So we've come to the material world. We have a contract that we can be independent, but there are conditions. What are those conditions? That as long as we want to live in this material world, we have to accept the miseries of the mind, adhyatmic, the miseries of the body, adhibautic. It's called klesha. The miseries that other living entities impose on our mind and body, and the miseries of nature. The miseries of nature, there are hurricanes. Whole cities are destroyed by hurricanes. There are tidal waves, tsunamis, whole city covered with water, gone. There are earthquakes. There are volcanoes that cover whole towns and villages. There are plagues. There's COVID. There's cancer. There's so many. So there are miseries of. There are forest fires. People are making beautiful homes, all to be burned to the ground overnight. Then there are wars. So where are all these? What is this coming from material nature? Why is acting like that? Because when there are different kinds of prisoners, even in their local prison, they are having rebellions and trying to go against the prison. Then things become more stringent. Then the suffering is increased. Because we're here, you want to live independently in the material world. There are conditions. Yes, you can be independent, but you have to follow certain rules. And if you don't follow certain rules, what is the rule? You don't kill. They're killing. This is a slaughterhouse civilization that covers the whole globe. There's no need to kill any animals, but we're killing. Therefore, the Veda says that because they're killing, therefore there are wars. This is nature's backlash, nature's wake-up call. You want to kill? Very good. With one bomb, we're killing so many millions. So, but everyone wants peace, but they're breaking the rules. They're not keeping the conditions. They're not keeping the regulative principles. Even in the prison house, there are rules. So then more severe conditions are imposed upon them. Sickness, war, plagues, forest fires, tsunamis, etc. So what there's even in the Bible, it says, they asked Jesus, how shall we pray? He said, our Father who art in heaven, your name is holy. And if we take your name and chant it nicely, what's the next line? Thy kingdom come, thy will be done right here on earth as it is in heaven. But they won't have it like that. No, you can't have thy kingdom come in a slaughterhouse civilization, but they won't. It's a question of leadership, of course. If people, the average, Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita that whatever standards the leaders set and show by example, all the world follows their example. They do anything in the name of the government. Government sends them to war. They're willing to give their life, just like that, for nothing, just to protect the financial interests of people who are behind the government. But people don't think. They think that they're doing a very wonderful thing by serving their country. So we have to learn how to love. In order, then we're conditioned souls, so we're subject to these conditions of independence that we've asked for this independence. So Krishna has given us this independence, and we're all here trying to be happy in this independence, but the conditions of birth, old age, disease, and death, these conditions are imposed on us. Everyone's trying to be unlimitedly happy, but material nature will not allow. Our youth is taken, our strength is taken, our intelligence is taken, our family is taken, our friends is taken, our social position is taken, our wealth is taken, our house is taken, and then our body is taken. These are the conditions that we have accepted that come along with our spirit of independence. You want to live independently? These are the conditions. And we are under those conditions. We are called conditioned souls. Our life, our experience of life is subject to these conditions. So, I'm reading. So we have to, I'm reading what you put online. Devotional service or Krishna consciousness can help one to gain such release. Oh, the release of the conditioned soul. Devotional service or Krishna consciousness can help one gain such release. Krishna, being the Lord of the illusory energy, he can order this insurmountable energy to release the conditioned soul. The conditions are removed. He orders this release out of his causeless mercy on the surrendered soul, out of his paternal affection for the living entity who's originally a beloved son of the Lord. Therefore, surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord is the only means to get free from the clutches of the stringent material nature. So,
Right.
surrender means beautiful.
Srila Prabhupada uses the word beloved son of the Lord here. So,
He loves us. Look, we wanted to have a revolution and live independently. He could have exterminated us.
yes.
People have infestation in their house. They call the exterminator,
Right.
whether it's mice or cockroaches or whatever. We have an infestation of some germ in our body, and we take some drugs to kill them all, to
Right.
exterminate them.
Mm.
This contamination. So we're living in the spiritual world, and we want to make a revolution. Why he should be number one? Why not me? So Krishna can immediately exterminate us. But no, he's created the material world and say, okay, you want to be independent? Here's your chance. Work out. Take a shot at it. I used to work in a large bank, and there was a notice board. And on the notice board, people would sometimes put their personal remarks. And one of the remarks someone posted on the notice board, because there was so much tension and pressure working in that bank, they had efficiency experts coming in, how they can get more work out of. We had over 100 cubicles, each person in a cubicle talking to the other people in the other cubicles through their computer. No personal. I had pictures of flowers on my cubicle wall, and it was a gray cubicle wall, and they said no flowers, with just gray cubicle wall. So they had so much stress and tension that they had 3 full-time psychiatrists. So because the people were having nervous breakdowns working in there. So, so,
Oh my God.
this is so that, yeah, so somebody put on the notice board for all these 100 people working in their gray cubicles, are we having fun yet? So Krishna is asking us.
Hmm.
He put us here under these conditions and where we want to enjoy independently. And Krishna is asking us, are you having fun yet? Is it nice? Is it working for you? So an intelligent person, he'll be able to hear other person. Unfortunately, the more successful a person is, the more intoxicated they become. The person who owns Amazon.com, he has unlimited millions of. A person who's the other one who makes this computerized system.
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. So who's the one who has Who? Jeff Bezos, he's Amazon. Who designed our the thing on our roof? The Tesla.
Hmm.
So these Elon Musk,
Hmm.
these people, the more, so what do they do with their extra money? We read online that the people in Amazon who work for Amazon.com, I drove through another city recently, and we passed huge buildings, Amazon.com warehouses. They're all over the planet. So where I was going, yeah. So what so the people are they're working for Amazon.com. So what does he do with the millions and trillions of dollars? He builds himself a spaceship. He did, to go into outer space.
Hmm.
And the people who are working in Amazon.com, they can't feed their family. So they're going on strike. So the more powerful people become, the more they think, oh, these people are only peasants. It doesn't matter how we treat them. So the real position of the stronger is to act as like parents for those who are not so much strong. But it's the nature of the material world that we've come here with the desire to be the strongest and the greatest and the most famous, the most opulent, the most beautiful, the most adored, and the most served. So as soon as there's an opportunity, we grab it because that's our disease. This is what is going on in ISKCON today. That those who are having a little bit of ability to be managers, what do they do? Srila Prabhupada, he said, do not centralize. Let every temple be independent and manage its own affairs.
Hmm. Right.
But those who are in charge of ISKCON immediately turn 180 degrees. Now we centralize.
Right.
GBC is the middle of ISKCON, and everyone is going to be subservient to that middle. And how do we enforce that? It's been done in every church. It's been done in every country. What do? We appoint gurus.
Right.
And what does the guru do? He has to take a vow that he's going to now have disciples.
Right.
His vow is that he will teach his disciples that how will they relate to the GBC? They will all follow the GBC. And so the guru is getting his power from the GBC. He's exploiting the GBC. He has control over his disciples, and the GBC is exploiting the gurus. He has a vow that he'll have all his disciples follow the GBC. It's a political maneuver for
Yes.
power.
Hmm.
Whether we do it is the same thing. So this is politics. So the people want this power, and it takes the form of religions also. It goes into the economic sector. It goes into the educational sector. It goes in. Who controls Who controls the universities? The, the big corporation.
Yes.
They fund the
Yes.
university.
Yes.
You want our financial grant? You teach what we tell you to teach. We don't tell you as doctors, you want to become doctors. We don't tell you how to keep people healthy. We tell you how to use our pills. And become a doctor, we give you the stamp of approval. You sell our pills, you get commission. And so the business controls the education. Uh, Education controls medicine. Every, so it doesn't matter what sector we have. This desire for control and to be the number one. It's in the economic division, it's in the political division, it's in the educational division, and we have it in religion as well. It's simply the same thing to how to become a demon, how to become Krishna's opponent, why he should be number one, why not me? And that is what ISKCON is today. What have they done? They've overthrown everything Srila Prabhupada built.
Yeah.
They've turned decentralization into centralization. They've turned the fact that he should be the Diksha Guru into creating so many gurus who have no relationship with Krishna other than an official stamp by a GBC. They're people like us, conditioned souls, how they can receive what is the position of a real teacher? The teacher, he's receiving our devotion. On behalf of Krishna, he's receiving our love. And he's taking our loving service and he's offering it to Krishna. He's purifying it because his heart is pure. But if I have a spiritual teacher who has no relationship with me, even he's in the next room, what to speak of another city or country, he doesn't feel my affection. He has no transcendental relationship with me. It's just a material stamp, a rubber stamp. Now he's my disciple. But there's no relationship. Our relationship with Srila Prabhupada can be Jagat Guru. He's empowered by Krishna to receive our love, that he can accommodate the whole universe in that way. That's called Shakyavesh avatar, that Krishna comes in the different forms, avatars. And one of the forms Krishna comes in is he takes one of his pure devotees, representatives, and empowers him to be the external manifestation of the all-pervasive super soul, the external manifestation of the Lord in the heart. That is what the Acharya is, the external manifestation of the Lord in our heart. And therefore we can have a personal relationship with him. He can receive our love and he can purify our attempt at being loving, and he can pass that up through the disciplic succession to Krishna himself. And there you have all these conditioned nonsense souls taking the role of guru because they have a stamp of approval on their forehead or something from a board of imposters who are supposed to uphold what Srila Prabhupada has built, but they're destroying everything Srila Prabhupada has built. It's a political maneuver. So it enters into every church. It enters into every religion. Therefore, I read recently a quote from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati that organization and institutionalization is a necessary evil in the manifestation of a preaching effort. If a real devotee comes to this world and tries to spread spiritual life, devotional life to the planet, he needs to have an organization in order to do that. Like Srila Prabhupada made an army of book distributors. He needs an organization in so many ways. He has to have laws. He has to have rules. He has to have temples. He has to have initiations. He has to have deity worship. He has to have so many things. He has to have government permits. He has to. So all of this, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, that this institutionalization, this organization, is a necessary evil that accompanies a real preaching effort. Why is that? Because he's taking us who are infected, conditioned souls, who are filled with this malice, who are filled with this envy, who are filled with this competition, who have desires to be number one, to be very significant, important people. He engages us in Krishna's service and tries to hold us all together. But as soon as he's away, the moment, even before Srila Prabhupada departed, they were in a room planning. You'll take this zone, you'll take this zone, you'll be a guru here, you'll be a guru there. I have heard it from those who were in those meetings.
Yeah,
Before,
Hamsaduta.
before he even left, they're
Mm.
planning.
Yes.
So this is the poison, and these conditioned souls are today running ISKCON.
Right.
So-called, there is no more ISKCON. ISKCON is gone. The guru system has changed. The deity worship is changed.
The books.
The offering of,
Yeah.
of Boga to Krishna has changed. The books are changed.
The management.
The management has changed. The decentralization has changed. Everything has changed.
Yes.
They're called ISKCON, but it's not there anymore.
Yes.
Srila Prabhupada is not there anymore, but they're keeping his murti there.
Yes.
But then they say, we're doing all this in the name of Srila Prabhupada. We're doing, like the Muslims were saying, we are destroying the Hindu temples in the name of Allah. And the Christians are saying, we're killing the Muslims in the name of Jesus. But what does Jesus and Muhammad, what are they? They're sitting somewhere under a tree shaking their heads. These people are doing things in our name, calling it Christianity, calling it Buddhism. And the Buddhists, one of the biggest teachings of the Buddha was nonviolence. And all the Buddhist priests are eating meat today and teaching like that. And they're telling each other, we're tolerant of each other. We're very tolerant. We don't judge each other. So, so it's the same thing. What do you call it? Judaism, that the Jews are killing the Palestinians in the name of being the chosen people. We're chosen to kill these people, and the Germans are killing the Jews because they're making a pure society in the name of purity, and the Muslims are killing the Hindus, and the Hindus are killing the Muslims, and it's going on all over. Even in one country in the East, the Buddhist government is killing the Muslims, and they're all having to flee for their life. I forget the name today. In the name of, in Burma, the Buddhists who are engaged, their nonviolence and love of each other. What? Ahimsa, nonviolence. The people are having to flee the country in rafts and barges because the Buddhists are killing the Muslims. So everybody's killing everybody in the name of God. So God is. So my good wife is saying, what is the antidote? The antidote is that when a person becomes actually a devotee, this malignant desire in the heart, it immediately goes away. Because we are part and parcel of God, we have all the qualities of God in minute amount in our heart. When we become aligned with God, you take your vehicle for an alignment. When there's no, when the parts are not in alignment, it doesn't run smooth. But
Right.
when there's a proper, so we have to be in alignment with God. Then we develop. Then our ride becomes very smooth. Then we are smooth with ourselves internally, and we're smooth with each other nicely.
Sure.
Not smoothly cheating each other, smoothly loving each other. So ISKCON is smoothly cheating. So the cure is that we have to become closer to God. That it says, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, right here on earth as it is in heaven. If we become close to God, the material world is also part of the world of God. The material world becomes very beautiful in every way. Nature cooperates. It rains on time. It makes sun on time. We don't have all of these cataclysms. Everything becomes nice, and our relationship with each other becomes nice, and we don't have to repeat this cycle of birth and death. And when we leave our body, we go back home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. I think
Joy.
I don't. I think it's just you and me, Prabhu.
Yes. So I have a question.
Sure.
During we read Srimad Bhagavatam, at least we hear that Brahma was born from the lotus navel of was it Garbhadaksha or Kshirodaksha Vishnu, and then he did not know what he was doing, and then uh, Krishna instructed him. But at that time, Lord Brahma had no idea of what's going on. He didn't have any instructions. So it seems like that was a causeless mercy of Krishna to see, okay, here's my representative. And even Lord Brahma, not knowing anything about love or anything, Lord Krishna gave him that seed in the heart. So how can we say that? I mean, the Lord eternally loves his living entities, but the living entity might not know that. And sometimes, well, by some superior arrangement, instructions come to them.
Yeah. So what happened? Lord Brahma, he heard. He got an instruction within his heart that tapa. You have to. You have to become purified. You have to do some austerity. And when Lord Brahma, he realized himself that each of us has an individual relationship with Krishna. And Lord Brahma got a view of the whole spiritual world, and he recited the Brahma Samhita, Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. You're the one that I love. You're the one that I love, Govinda. And he says, Ishvara Parama Krishna, the supreme controller. I'm wanting to be a controller and create in this material world. I have this desire to be a controller and the creator. He said, Ishwar, but Krishna is the Ishvara Parama. He's the supreme controller. Ishvara Parama, Satchita, and his form, Krishna's form, Satchidananda Vigraha. His form, Vigraha, is eternal and full of spiritual knowledge and full of boundless spiritual ecstasy, bliss. Satchidananda. Anadirada, he has no beginning. He's beginningless, and he's the source of all creation, actually. Anadiradir, Govinda, Sarvakarnakar, and he's the cause behind
Hmm.
all causes. Everything that happens, Krishna is the cause of all causes.
So in this case in point, the transcendental instruction of tapasya came first, and then the realization came. At least it seems. If you
If we go to a doctor and we have some sickness,
hmm,
a digestive problem, this problem, that problem, whatever the problem, he says, okay, we're going to cure you, but first you have to accept certain restrictions. You have to say, you have to accept these, what's the tapasya? You have to accept certain austerities. Your leg is broken, we're going to put you in a cast. You won't have free movement, but you get healthy. It's a restriction. It's an austerity you're going to have to endure for a while to drag around this 20 pounds on your leg. Uh, or you have a digestive problem. You have this, that. Uh, you have this is all you can eat. So, and you cannot enjoy all the things that you want to enjoy. If you try, you'll become more sick. So,
hmm,
what does this mean? It means that to become cured of an illness, there must be a certain austerities
yes,
as the first step. So we have our austerities. It begins, you know what Srila Prabhupada says about the four regulative principles in the second volume of the Krishna book? He says that these four, no illicit sex, no intoxication, no eating meat, fish, eggs, no eating animals, and no illicit sex, no intoxication, and no
gamble, yeah,
gambling or speculative
speculation, yes.
thinking. Everyone has their own philosophy that they think they're getting Nobel Prizes for their philosophy, but they're still in the cycle of birth and death for all of their Nobel Prizes. Let them take the Nobel Prize to the grave. So that's how much it will serve them. So you're going to say at the time of death, oh, but I have a Nobel Prize. Yeah, I should die now. So they say, that's not going. Krishna says, sorry. Hey, Yamaraj says, sorry, we don't accept Nobel Prizes here. So, then where I'm going, so we have to accept some austerity in order to become cured. Oh, yeah. So Srila Prabhupada says these four regular principles, it's only for approaching the mode of goodness.
Mm,
So then Krishna goes further in Bhagavad Gita. He says, we have to learn how to live. You know this verse, Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma? Okay.
yes,
He said, he said, joyful within the heart. Where did that joyfulness come? It came from verses 51 to 53 in 18th chapter. Krishna is describing all these austerities. He's listing them, 1851 to 53. You live like this, you live like this, you don't do this, you don't do that, you give up this, you give up that, and you'll come to this clarity where you'll start to become joyful in your heart. And what will happen when you become joyful in your heart?
Sochati.
No, not sochati, not kangshati. So what is sochati? It's thinking, if I can get this,
I'll be happy.
happy.
Mm,
So what does getting mean? It means I'm thinking in the future.
mm,
I don't have now, but if I can get, then I'll be. And nakangshati. So what is kangshati? Oh, I'm lamenting if only things had been different yesterday or 10 years ago or when I was a little boy, a baby, or my parents, my schooling, my this. What is that? He's living in the past. So what is Krishna saying? You give up living in the future and you give up living in the past. But you can only do this if the happiness that you're looking for in the future and the happiness you wish the past was different so you could be happy today, that happiness you're looking for, when your heart becomes joyful, then you can stop living in the future and the past. So what is Krishna saying? That as spirit soul, we have to live in the present moment. It's online. People are teaching how to live in the present moment. But what does Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita 17:17? He says it's called, in 1854, it's called Prasanatma, joyful within the heart. In 1715 or 16, it's called Mana Prasada, serenity in the heart. In 1842, it's called Shama, peace within the heart. So whether we call it inner joy, inner peace, inner serenity, before, what does Krishna say? He says, when you come to this level, what will happen? Your envy of everybody will stop. Samasarveshu bhuteshu. You'll feel equal love towards all living beings as soon as you have this beauty in your heart. And then he says, Mad bhaktim labhate param. Now you can become a devotee. So in order to become a devotee, we first have to become clean in our heart. That's tapasya. That is our austerity. You know what Krishna says in 17:17? He says to learn how to have this inner serenity, this inner peace, this inner joy. He says this is the austerity of the mind. You look in 17:17, the austerity of the mind in the mode of goodness. But he says, but don't do this just for yourself because you like to feel good. Do it to please me, Krishna says. He says, when one adopts this inner beauty, this inner serenity of living in the present moment with total satisfaction, and this is the mode of goodness, it's only still material. It's the beginning of sanity. Not grasping after the future, not lamenting over the past, but living in the present moment with joy in the heart. He says, when you do this for my pleasure, Krishna says, and so that is the austerity of the mind in the mode of goodness. So, and what does Krishna say in 1854? When you develop this inner beauty, prasanatma, brahma bhuta, your hankering for things will go away without trying because you're already satisfied within. Your lamentation over the material circumstances will go away because you're already satisfied within, prasanatma, brahma bhuta. And you'll have love everyone because you're not envious of everyone. In fact, you want to share with everyone your happiness. And then Krishna says, when you come to this stage, Lord Brahma, when you accept this austerity, and the same thing, Lord Brahma and us, Mad Bhaktim Labhate Param, now you can become a devotee. A person whose heart is filled with hankering and lamentation, they have no time or ability to have love. They can't feel love because their heart is full of material desire. Love and material desire are opposite. Material desire is there, means I want to be God. I want to be the controller and the enjoyer. But one who comes to this Prasanatma platform, he's already fulfilled. His heart is satisfied. So therefore, Lord Krishna is advising Lord Brahma, you do some austerity, then we can talk about the creating the material world.
Jai, Haribo. Jai.
The same, so Srila Prabhupada is teaching us
Yes.
that I'm getting a signal, time to end class, from the local government. So we all have a constitutional position. I have mine, I accept. So, Lord Krishna is telling Lord Brahma, you want to make something beautiful, you need to do us. Srila Prabhupada is teaching us and that you want to become my devotee. You have to accept some austerity and become purified. You have to become at least a Brahmin. Srila Prabhupada, a Brahmin can become a Vaishnav. Why? Because he's no longer hankering materially, because he's satisfied in his heart. A Brahmin can become a Vaishnav. Srila Prabhupada says, it's just like you have money in your account, you can transfer from one account to another.
Right.
But you have nothing in your account, what you can transfer.
Nothing.
So we have to have love in our heart, then we can transfer it to Krishna. That's what he means. That's why a Brahmin can become a Vaishnava. We have to become that clean. And Krishna says now, Mad Bhaktim Labat, you're all finished with your hankering and lamentation. Now you can become my devotee.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Jai, so we're right about the time, 6:30 my time. So just before we end, I'd like to share something here with the devotees that are watching online. We are trying to get the Srimad Bhagavatam, the 1962, 1964, and 1965 Delhi Bhagatams that Srila Prabhupada brought from India to America. This was the foundational Bhagavatam sets that ever graced the US and abroad. So me, Vishwakarma, Ishoranandana, we started a GoFundMe drive where devotees can donate here. So we've collected so far $2,900, and we are going to publish about, there we go, Ishan Prabhu showing that 1 second there. Yeah, that's it. That's gone out of print. So we're gonna bring it back into print. We're trying to get 2,000 copies distributed. So this is the campaign for that. It's going to cost about $26,000. So we have raised about 2,009. Yeah, there we go. Ishan Prabhu. Yeah, so that's what Ishan Prabhu reads. It's one of those gems that's gone out of print.
Not only that,
Yes, go ahead.
Jayadvaita Swami has not been able to change one word in it yet.
Yes.
It's going to be totally protected from ISKCON, from contaminating with their own ideas.
Yes, that's the goal here. So we are going to slowly get all the books recirculated, starting with this here, and we're trying to raise $24,000. We're going to reach it. I've given 1,000, Vishwakarma's given 1,000, many other devotees have given. So we're going to get this, and then we're going to distribute to the world.
I'm giving 1,000.
Hare Krishna.
All right, we'll talk, and you'll tell me how to send it in.
Jai, Haribol, there we go. Ishan Prabhu, thank you very much. And this is the great teachings of Srila Prabhupada. We want everyone to have Srila Prabhupada's original books, develop their dormant love of God by reciprocation and understanding of Prabhupada's books, how he's a transcendental personality, where you can repose your love in his lotus feet. Jai.
Srila Prabhupada said, in these first 3 volumes, I've put everything. He brought them to America before there was any Krishna consciousness movement, and with the idea that if people can just understand what's in here.
Joy.
There's so many beautiful things. I shouldn't interrupt you.
No, go ahead, Ishan Prabhu. Maybe you can read it, close it off with a statement from that.
Okay, here's the statement. First canto, 5th chapter, text number 25. And here's the verse, text number 25. Srila Prabhupada tells us how how we can get, we now have a material infection in our heart. How can we become infected with love of God? Here's Srila Prabhupada's purport. Pure devotional accumulation is as much infectious, but in a good sense, as an infectious disease. A pure devotee, meaning someone that will associate to catch this disease, a pure devotee is clear off from all kinds of sin. And the personality of God, he's the purest entity. And as such, unless one is not equally pure from the infection of these material quality, one cannot become a pure devotee of the Lord. So, as I'll skip a little bit, there are sometimes, Srila Prabhupada writes, pseudo-devotees. Imagine pretenders who are claiming to be guru.
Yeah.
There are sometimes, and one should be very much cautious about them. Don't get infected, don't associate. There are many things, Srila Prabhupada said, which hinders one in the matter of entering into the realm of devotional service. But by the association of the pure devotee, all these obstacles are removed. See, if we have an intimate relationship with Srila Prabhupada, our hearts will become clean. The neophyte, he's not talking about advanced. Srila Prabhupada writes here, what happens, how this removal takes place. The neophyte devotee becomes practically enriched with the transcendental qualities of the pure devotee. Just like sometimes you buy something at the store, farina or wheat flour or something, and it says enriched. Something has been added. So here Srila Prabhupada says, the neophyte becomes practically enriched with the transcendental qualities of the pure devotee. And then he writes, infection of these qualities of the pure devotee means what? To imbibe the taste, to imbibe in character, our character, to imbibe in character the taste of pure devotion. So by associating with a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada, just by having that sense of connection with him, by living in that sense of we're getting infected with his devotional qualities. We will imbibe the taste of his devotional character. And he says, this transcendental taste, at once, it makes all material things distasteful.
Chai.
He's telling us how we can get rid of our infection of material. And therefore, a real devotee is not at all attracted by material activity. And then he says, so what will happen if we become like this? It's an ongoing process. Not that I have a stamp now, I'm initiated by some nonsense rascal, but it's a way of living our life. So it takes by stages. Srila Prabhupada writes, what happens? That first stage is that our material desires become distasteful just by his association. And after the elimination of these obstacles on the path of devotion, one becomes attracted. Imagine, one can have steadiness. Imagine, one can have perfect taste. We know what's like and what not. One can have transcendental emotion. And at last, one is situated on the plane of loving service of the Lord. And all of these stages developed by the association of the pure devotee. And that is the purport of this stanza. Srila Prabhupada is explaining it's only by intimate association with him, not by following a checklist of things to do and not to do, but to develop that sense of communion within our heart, a personal, transcendental relationship, to feel his love, to have that exchange of love that makes us want more, that fills us, our heart, with the nectar of devotion, bhakti ras, and frees us simultaneously. From him, Krishna Prem emanates, and if we can catch it, by him, our ignorance is destroyed. So whether we're in one prayer or in one, it's always the same message. It's always by the association. They say, but he says if we that by following his instructions, he lives forever by his divine instruction, and the follower lives with him. We're following his instruction, but what we just read, that's also his instruction. Why not follow that instruction? That's the real instruction. Now it's time I have to let go. Hare Krishna. You're muted, Prabhu.
Jai Prabhu, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, and thank you very much for your donation. I'll keep in contact and we'll get things going.
Yeah, write to me and tell me where it's sent and all.
All right, Jai.
Okay.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna.